Now let's paint the tongue and add some detail to the lip. So we're starting to get some more color in our old model setup here. So let's go ahead and go to the tongue and start to add some detail to that. So I'll just isolate everything else, and I'll get kind of a red color. Maybe desaturate it a little bit. And let's go ahead and fill that under color. Let's just fill the object. All right. And now we can get kind of another version of that color. And let's go to color spray, dial up our size a little bit, and take our RGB intensity down. And then we can just kind of add a little bit of that variation across the surface of that tongue. Okay, so we can come in and just add a little bit of that variation. If we want to, we can kind of go back over that with another variation as well. Okay. We can also go ahead and get kind of one of these colors, go to the drag rectangle, and kind of get one of our alphas to come in and just start to add some detail in there as well. We can come in, drop this in, play with our intensities a little bit. And I'm not going to worry too much about the upping the resolution on the tongue. We don't need a lot of detail in there, but we can just get a little bit of detail going on as far as the texture goes. Just a little bit of color variation coming in on this tongue. A lot of the detail come through on the sculpted detail, and I think we're going to probably do a normal map on this, so that'll allow us to get some of this detail out into Maya. Alright, so just doing that little bit of work adds a lot to the tongue, just adding some of that variation. If you want to emphasize this, any of these creases, you could go ahead and grab a version of this and just darken it up. Okay, and then we'll go to our freehand stroke, and then we can come in and just kind of darken some of these areas up a little bit, emphasize the interior of that just by kind of drawing in almost to just a shadow. Okay, we can do the same thing down here. Just kind of emphasize those creases with some darker color in there. Just kind of bring out those creases a little bit. Same thing over on this side. Okay, and if it's too much, you can always come back in and just kind of drop that out with another alpha. Come back over that and break it up a little bit if you end up getting kind of a harsh line there. Alright. And maybe we'll come back in. Maybe that's a little bit too red on the back side there. So you can come in and just cover that up with our base color there. You can see we can very quickly get a nice looking texture for this. Let's add some detail to the lip. It's a little bit smooth here, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight the main tool and just go to that lip, and I'm going to go to the freehand, and I'm going to turn off RGB, and let's just do a little bit of sculpting here again. So kind of dial this down a bit, and I just want to create these kind of bumps on this lip. So just come in and kind of real quickly just sculpt across some of these bumps coming across this lip. Okay, and then if you want to, you can hold down Alt to kind of push in some of the areas in there. You could use your alpha that we've got, the edge alpha. If we wanted to kind of create a sharper line there, you could do that as well. Okay, and so we're just adding a little bit to those lips. They're a little bit too smooth, so we'll just come in here and add a little bit of irregularity to that. If you want to emphasize that with some color as well, you can certainly do that. Go ahead and select that color maybe and get a kind of a brighter color there. And then as you sculpt that, it'll just emphasize that even a little bit more, because you'll get that light color on top of it. Okay, then you can go back in and break that up with some of your alphas if you want to. All right, so now that we've got the kind of the tongue painted, we've got some detail on the lip, the next thing we want to do is paint the fish. It's about the only thing we have left to add some paint to, and I want to make this kind of a really colorful looking fish. So we'll look at how we can do that in the next lesson, and then we'll get to detailing kind of the ground plane for our composition, and then start looking at how we can begin to get some of these pieces that we've created and some of the textures that we've painted out of ZBrush and into another package to be able to do a nice finished render of. So let's go ahead and look at how we can paint the fish in the next lesson.